Cognitive endurance is the new superpower. In a distracted India, the one who can sit quietly and think deeply will dominate exams, business, and life. People don't fail because they are not smart. They fail because they can't sustain effort long enough. Build mental stamina, and you build your future.
You know the feeling. You sit down, ready to study for that big exam. 10 minutes in, you feel a little tired. 20 minutes in, you find yourself reaching for your phone. And after 40 minutes, your brain is just screaming, "I can't do this anymore." That's when you start believing the lie, the one that says you're just not disciplined enough. Well, today, we're going to completely dismantle that lie. It's the one question that haunts every single student, whether you're preparing for UPSC, CAT, or JEE. You put in the hours, you have the books, but why does your mind just feel like it's shutting down? What if I told you the answer has nothing to do with your character at all? Let's just get this straight, right here and now. That feeling, the one that makes you want to give up, where your mind just drifts away, it's not laziness, not even close. And you know what? It's not a lack of motivation either. Think about it. You wouldn't even be on this tough path if you aren't motivated. The real issue is actually something much more technical. And that's it. Your brain is like a muscle. It gets tired, it gets fatigued, but just like a muscle, its endurance can be trained. What you've been experiencing isn't some moral failing, it's just a training deficit. Okay, so let's dive into the signs of this, because mental exhaustion is a very real physiological thing that happens. It's not just a feeling you have, it's an actual state of your brain. Now check this out. Your brain only makes up about 2% of your body's total weight, but it burns through a massive 20% of your daily energy. That means deep, focused work, the kind you absolutely need for competitive exams, is incredibly expensive for your body to produce. This brings us to a huge idea in psychology called ego depletion. The best way to think about it is this: your willpower isn't some infinite character trait. It's more like the battery on your phone. Every single time you use self-control, every time you decide to study instead of scroll, you drain that battery just a little bit. And there's a brilliant experiment that proves this. Back in 1998, a psychologist named Roy Baumeister set this up. He brought people into a room that smelled of delicious, freshly baked cookies. Group 1, they were told to go ahead and eat the cookies. But Group 2, they were told to resist the cookies and eat radishes instead. Now think about that. Group 2 had to use a ton of willpower, a lot of self-control. Then, both groups were given an impossible puzzle and told to work on it for as long as they could. The results were staggering. The cookie group, the ones who didn't have to drain their willpower, they worked on that puzzle for an average of 20 minutes. But the radish group, the ones who had already spent their mental energy just resisting those cookies, they lasted only 8 minutes. They quit more than twice as fast. Why? Because their cognitive fuel tank was already running on empty. Okay, so if just resisting a plate of cookies can drain your focus that badly, imagine what the modern world is doing to your brain's battery every single minute of every single day. Your focus is under constant assault, and we need to understand the enemies. Our brains are absolutely addicted to something called intermittent variable rewards. This is literally the principle that makes a slot machine so addictive. The real thrill isn't the prize itself, it's the anticipation of a reward you can't predict. And social media, with its endless scroll of potential likes, new comments, and funny videos, has basically turned all of our brains into slot machines. And this creates a huge problem for you as a student. Just look at the difference. Deep work, like really understanding a difficult chapter, offers a slow, delayed reward. Scrolling Instagram, on the other hand, gives you an instant, unpredictable hit of dopamine with basically zero effort. So when your mental energy is low, which one do you think your brain is going to default to? It's always going to choose the easy dopamine, and that shrinks your ability to tolerate the discomfort of real work. To add another layer, the Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman talked about 2 systems of thinking. System 1 is fast, it's automatic, it's emotional, it's your brain on autopilot. System 2, though, is slow, it's analytical, and it's very effortful. System 2 is the part of your brain you need to solve complex problems, and it is metabolically expensive to run. And here is where it all comes together. When you're mentally tired, when your ego is depleted from a long day, your brain will always choose the path of least resistance. It just defaults to that lazy, easy System 1 thinking. That's the exact reason why, after a few hours of studying, you find yourself just reading the same sentence over and over again. Your system, too, has basically gone offline. Now let's take all this science and put it squarely into the reality that millions of you are living every single day. Because this isn't just some abstract theory. This is the lived experience inside our incredibly high-pressure environment. I mean, think about what you're dealing with. A massive syllabus, constant social comparison with everyone around you, and unbelievable pressure from family and society. Maybe you're in the coaching culture of Coda or Rajindranagar, surrounded by non-stop digital distraction. Here's the problem. Everyone tells you to study harder, but nobody ever teaches you how to actually manage the mental energy you need to do it. This right here changes the entire game. The battle for a top rank in UPSC or JEE isn't just a test of how smart you are. It's a test of mental endurance. It's all about who can manage their cognitive energy well enough to stay in that uncomfortable, effortful System 2 state longer than their competition. So if this is a training problem, then that's actually good news, because it means there's a training solution. It's time to stop punishing your brain for getting tired and start training it like it's an elite athlete. The biggest myth we absolutely have to bust is this glorification of burnout. The 12-hour study marathon isn't a badge of honor, it's a recipe for failure. The real way to build endurance is through progressive overload. You wouldn't walk into a gym for the first time and try to lift 100 kilos, right? You start with something you can handle, and you build your capacity slowly over time. So, here's your training plan. It's simple. Step 1, deep work training. Start with just 30-minute blocks of pure, single-minded focus, no distractions. And then you gradually increase the time. Step 2, a dopamine reset. You have to reduce the low-quality stimulation from things like reels and notifications. This makes your brain more tolerant of deep work. Step 3, aerobic exercise. It's been proven to boost brain factors that improve memory and focus. And finally, Step 4, strategic rest. Work in focused 90-minute blocks, then take a real 15-minute recovery break. Your endurance grows during the recovery, not during the exhaustion. Look, in the end, this isn't just about a few study techniques. This is about adopting a whole new mindset that will become your single greatest strength. I want you to really let this sink in. In a world, and especially in a country that is so full of distraction, the person who can master their own attention, who can sit with a difficult problem without needing to escape, that person is going to dominate. This skill, it's your superpower. Let's circle all the way back to where we started. I really want you to internalize this idea. That feeling of failure, that feeling of not being good enough, it was all based on a false premise. You were never lazy. You were an athlete who was asked to run a marathon without a single day of training. So the real question, the one I want to leave you with, is this. Now that you know the truth, now that you know focus is a skill that can be trained, what are you going to do about it? Will you start the training to build a resilient, powerful mind, or will you let it stay fragile at the mercy of every little distraction? The choice is yours.